what? So you mad that you look chola or what?
No, I'm.
You want to look chola?
No, because this is the thing. Like, it's like
pick one.
It's this clean girl aesthetic again. Like black women and brown women and just like people of color have done it for years, but they've picketed it like they've been like, okay, well, when Hispanic women do it, she looks like a chola. She looks ghetto. When black women do it, it's, oh, she looks unclean. She looks ghetto. But if you compare my outfit right now and my hair and my gold hoops and everything, and you compare it to when Hailey Bieber wears it, because she's been wearing this shit a lot, like this, like literally identical hair and everything else. And they're like, wow, it's the clean girl aesthetic. She looks so clean and put together. And it's like, just because she's white. And
I'm going to be honest with you. Every time I see white people that look the way you do, I'm like, what's going on with you? What's
like,
wrong?
what are you doing?
What's wrong?
No, because...
But I think that probably speaks to like our biases in general.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, okay, so... Do you get offended whenever people think about it as a chola, or do you want it to be? Do you want people to label you as clean girl aesthetic?
I take a bit now. Is one, I don't really care if you associate me to a chola or not, because in the sense of like taking back the power of what people once thought cholas were, and it's just like, well, shut up, because a chola don't fuck you up any both ways that you go about it, so I don't care.
A chola would definitely put a fucking razor out of her bobby pin and just
immediately, you know,
you
know, because you called her man's wrong or whatever. I don't know, but like,
yo, cholas, shit, don't fucking come at me, Latin community, but cholas are like low key had like the lesbian fit before lesbians had the lesbian fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cholas straight look
like pioneered a lot.
Just take off the like the eyebrow and like and the like giant earrings and like the kind of the floss that they had, and they kind of look like lesbians. Like, the lesbian fit, not them look like lesbians. There's some really like.
Yeah.
They ranged, right? Yeah. But like just the fit, like the baggy pants.
There's a
they would
specific
wear like Dockers,
that's
Dickies.
Very much
Sorry,
like...
Dockers, not Dockers. Dockers is white people. Dickies is something else.
Yes.
They were like Dickies and the Converse, and then they had like the wife beaters with like the, you know what I mean? And they like so, but they kind of had like a lesbian
for
fit
a while.
though.
For a while, I think that was like the fit. That I think it's because it.
Shout out to LA for the chola culture or cholo culture.
Facts. I think it's also because of the fact that like it was very much to. If I'm not mistaken, they dressed like that so that they would kind of like confuse the police whenever they were hiding their mans.
Word?
You don't know why the cholas would dress the way that they would?
I didn't know that's why they got
cholas, like the cholas, it's themselves, like they would get harassed by the police just as much as obviously like their mans would. But if I'm not mistaken, like the philosophy behind it or like the tactic behind it was like blend them all in. Like if you look at the cholas and you look at the cholos, they looked exactly.
So the community was like, yo.
So you couldn't tell them apart because like if the girls the girls had their slick back hair, you couldn't tell if it was a dude with the shaved head. Like what, you know what I mean? With like a low buzz cut hair, it was all dark and it's all at night, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, who's who? Where'd the guy go? And then it's just like, wait, talk about it. It's all the girls here. We're just chilling, and the guys done snuck away with the drugs and shit like that or whatever, you know what I mean? Like it. So there, I feel like if I'm not mistaken,
no drugs, they were just racial profiling.
Yeah. So but I mean,
well, whatever. That's wild. Yeah. So cholas was just, man. Look, first of all, nobody, no culture that I can think of, no ethnicity, no race. There is no women in any ethnicity or race that I can think of where the female, where the wifey goes hard for the man. El Chapo's wife said, I never saw him do anything illegal ever in my life. What?
She said, I didn't see anything.
And all the Latino community was like, she never saw anything. What you talking about? The entire Latino community read the headline said, El Chapo's wife, whatever her name was, alleges that she did not see any criminal activity. And every Latino in the world were like, if she told you she didn't see anything, she didn't see anything. What the problem is? What's the problem? Right? What is the problem? That man was in jail for years, escaped under a tunnel, and she was like, I had no idea he was a criminal.
I didn't know.
I had no idea. He treats me good.
I'm mind my business.
He takes care of me. I went to the store. He got me 3 raspas today. Like, I don't have anything to be complaining about. He got the extra queso and the extra mayonesa and the elote.
On the
like,
bottom?
I don't know. I just thought he was a businessman. I just thought he was, you know what I mean? And not on some like, oh, I want my mans to take care of me. Like, I don't do nothing. Like, nah, she said ride or die. She said, nah, I've never seen him do anything illegal. As far as I'm concerned, he raises puppies. And everybody was like,
what?
Ma'am, excuse you? He is the world's most, like, the leader of drug trafficking in the world.
And this is the one thing about, I feel like, as Latina or like the brown woman is very much like, prove me wrong.
And
prove me wrong. Prove what I just said wrong.
And you know that she knew that he had other bitches.
Of course.
That he was with some other hoes.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
But she said, but I'm the main one.
And she's still, no. And it's not even on the main one. She's like, I know y'all got him in jail, but he gonna get this wrath whenever I want him to get this wrath. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his real punishment is with me.
Not with you.
Not with y'all. What the fuck the government gotta do? Fingerprints. I ain't gotta fingerprint his ass. I know it's him. He ain't gotta. He doesn't have to get plastic surgery for me not to know. I know where he stay. I know where his mama stay. I know where his kids stay. I know where his aunties stay. I know where everybody stay. Y'all ain't gotta do nothing. It's cool. We're over here in fucking Michoacan or wherever the hell.
I think they're from Sinaloa.
Sinaloa, yeah, it's definitely. Yeah, I'm tripping. Sinaloa. I don't know why I even said that. It's because I was watching.
Yeah, he's a cartel de Sinaloa. Yeah.
Well, yeah. It's because I was watching this thing about food from Michoacan and how like Mexican food stays slept on in the.
Facts. Anthony Bourdain knew what the fuck he was talking about when he was talking about the Oaxacan mole.
The food culture around the world, Mexican food stays slept on. I was watching something from Michoacan and they be cooking it good. I'm like, God damn, how come my regio ass parents didn't teach me anything about no Oaxacan mole?
I have a theory that if I were to go to any country in the world or multiple countries in the world and create like a Mexican panaderia, it would be a hit. Like no matter what, because art, like the way that we like combine certain things together, it's like. There's cinnamon in my concha. What the fuck?
I'm gonna bring it back. But I'm gonna go through a stream. First off, even us as people from Monterrey, like we love Mexican food, and we know that Monterrey still be killing it when it comes to like certain foods that the city originated from. But fuck me, dude, like there's so much more.
Oh yeah,
cultural significance in terms of like southern Mexico, western Mexico, like Pacific. The Mexicans that share the Pacific versus the Mexicans that share the Gulf. Like holy fucking crap, man!
It's crazy.
So it makes me super hyped to just go. We're trying to be the Degenerates. Trying to go to Mexico and trying to experience all this wild shit and try to go to the jungles and the desert and get your Oaxacan mole. So fuck it up, get us popping. But anyway, that's one. Back to the chola thing, or the Latina girls. Y'all stay ride or die, man. Like ride or die. And I'm not even saying for the better. Like I'm not even saying that that's like a good or bad thing. It's just like a absolute like an observation. Because there's some instances where like homie was fucking up. You shouldn't have been ride or die for that dude. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But then there was also some situations where like El Chapo gets romanticized as this I don't even know how to describe him because he's clearly a criminal, right? But he's also this like folk hero. He's also this in Mexico at least. He's also this like folk hero in the same way that Escobar was like clearly a criminal.
Yeah.
Right. Clearly the CIA wanted his ass.
Yeah.
But he's also like a hometown hero.
Yeah.
He also brought like schools and money into Medellin and like all in the same way that El Chapo was like, nah, everybody getting paid. Like you know, everybody, not everybody getting paid, but everybody's gonna benefit from this, and like his city flourished, like the economy of the city flourished, like all. So there's a lot of moral ambiguity to like the drug dealers, especially cartel leaders, and you know shit like that. So, but he gets romanticized. He gets romanticized as like you hear it in like the corridos and shit. Like he gets really romanticized of like one, don't fuck with him.
Yeah.
Cause your ass about to end up in an oil drum. But then also. And not even just like a basic ass oil drum. Like you're gonna light the way for the people immigrating in the desert to United States. Like it's gonna be you, homie.
Yes.
So there's that. But then there's also this like benevolence that they have. Obviously, like huge, flagrant, like opulence, right? Like the trucks and the guns made of gold and like this crazy opulence that's kind of ridiculous. But there's also like a huge benevolence. Like the people from their hometowns love them.
Yeah.
Love them. You know what I mean? Case in point example of when they got El Chapo's son. I don't know if you've seen that video. It was a while back. They got El Chapo's son. He was partying. They got El Chapo's son, and it was by accident. It was complete accident. And they like walked in the house and they were like, oh shit, it's his son. And even the cops in that moment were like, oh crap. And then they had him outside detained because that's protocol, right? And then they were gonna put him in the car. Pretty much the entire fucking town showed up with guns and was like, let him go now or we go finna have a problem.
Yeah.
And they let his ass go.
Well, of course they let his ass go. Shit, I'd have been like, look, my bad. I'm so sorry about that, man. Well, did you need me to get you something?
It wasn't even the cops. It was like the military.
Well, okay, this is also like a thing though. Like in Mexico, there is this known, it's just known that the Mexican government and the Mexican military, and basically like what is the cartel and what is the government is basically the same thing. So like there is really like there's a fine line between
a lot of corruption
between both of them.
like
but like the understanding is like, for instance, like the cartel, if I'm not mistaken, like will only really kill men. Like, and yes, there is parts of the cartel that like be fucking around with all illicit stuff, which is trafficking of any kind, which is unfortunately part of what it is. But there's also this like weird, like you said, like a romanticization about them, and it's weird because it's rooted in the facts that they really don't fuck around with certain people. They'll only fuck around with people that they deem need to be, well, I mean, I think it started off that way. I think that the main dude started off that way, and then because when you will increase your empire like that, you're bound to get people that are just kind of fucked up in the head.
Through the cracks
People that are literally just fucked up in the head, and they just get their little power high, and all of a sudden they abducting women and shit. But if I'm not mistaken, they were really much like, nah, G, this is just about drugs.
Yeah, like, there's a romanticism to that thing, but like to the point that I'm making about Latina women, and maybe I should just speak for even just Mexican women because that's the only thing that I've seen. But like I feel like just Latina women in general,
Mexican women stick by their man,
and of course it's not an absolute. But whenever I hear people talk about like, oh, men ain't shit, or like that, this dude don't deserve you, or like this and that, blah blah blah. Like yeah, they mean it, but like there's a certain level. Especially, I don't know, man. In Latin communities, there's a certain level of like, I chose you,
so we gonna stick it through,
and we're gonna see this shit through, or not even see this shit through in like a good way. It could be a bad way too, but like that happens. You know what I mean? It happens to where like Latina women are like fucking
they ride or die,
Mother Earth and shit. Like
Mother Earth,
yeah, like it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Very true.
Or if I had to make a very clear addendum to that, obviously that's not an absolute. I'm not saying all women, right? But if I had to make a correction, I would say every ethnicity of color, just not white people. Why white people don't do that? White people are like, nah, we figure something out. Or maybe it's the judicial system or this and that. But like,
Epstein's girl done ratted his ass out.
You see what I'm saying?
She was all like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
The only one.
The
only white woman I know that's acted like a Latina like this is Hillary Clinton. That girl said yes.
That's my man's.
Yes, he got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. I was out of town. My bad. Like this, you know what I mean? Done saw Lewinsky and everything. It was like, bitch, I know who you is. Like, don't be. You know what I mean? Like,
I picked you.
You know what I mean?
It's
like,
fine.
he told me about it way before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, on some Claire Underwood shit from House of Cards. Like, I knew, bitch. I know who he was. But that's the only one. And she still say like, no, we love each other. That girl said, no, we love each other. We're having a great time. It was the fucking
this little
Clinton was on
ass.
Epstein's plane. There was like a whole bunch of fucking scandals, this and there, all because this dude played the saxophone. And Hillary's like, what an amazing man.
It's amazing.
He supported me when I ran for president. And Bill Clinton's like just in the back, like, huh. That was old as fuck.
He looks
old. He looks
like
weathered.
he looks like the coke got to him bad. Because I swear, man, like you look at him, he se ve demacrado, man.
Yeah,
Está todo chupado, and you're just like,
fucking around with Hunter Biden.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? You get eat.
Well, anyway, Latina women, shout out to y'all because they fucking y'all really on some loyalty on some different level shit. Doesn't mean you don't hate your mans. It doesn't mean you ain't about to fuck your mans up. But there's a loyalty there, and I think it's cultural. I think it's like real cultural. Like there's a clear understanding that like as partners, I'm not even gonna say as men and women, like as partners, whoever you choose to be your partner, you understand y'all need each other. I don't know what it is.
You say it that way, and I think it's just like internalized misogyny. Like so you going at it the other way. I'm thinking because I would never stay loyal to no man out here trying to act like that with me.
But if you were dating El Chapo?
Well, maybe I'm just...
If El Chapo was your husband?
There's a difference. I'm not fearing death.
You wouldn't be there in Virginia?
Well, I'm not fearing death. I'm not fearing death if I'm not sticking up for some little bummy as... Dude,
status is important,
because my thing is just like, bro, imagine I don't stick up for El Chapo and all of a sudden El Chapo's all like,
okay,
I heard you were saying stuff, and it's like, I was saying nothing. And it's like, you know what I mean? like,
okay, thought experiment. We're gonna go back to the cholas in a little bit. I know this is a big tangent, but thought experiment. Say you were with El Chapo like figure, where you maybe you didn't know exactly what he was doing or he was involved with, but it was some sort of dubious behavior.
I would be terrified to walk away from that. Yeah.
Hold on. Not even that, but you strong, you whatever, right? No infidelity. You know he's not with any other bitches, but you know that he's into some dubious. But you know the U.S. government's after his ass. You know the Chinese government's after his ass. Whatever government. You know you know he can only take you on vacation places where they don't extradite you. You know what I mean? Like you know this in advance. You know what I mean? So do you, in a situation where he gets popped and then you're having to testify or you're in jail too? Do you take the bullet? Like, not the bullet. That's the wrong terminology. Do you stick up and hold him down? If you know he ain't never been unfaithful,
ask my man.
He's got some real strong principles, but obviously not like well-centered principles. Like, his morality is a little gray.
It's giving you very red.
Yeah.
Like, it's giving very red. Yeah, I'd stick up for that.
You stick up for that? Because she's doing time right now. She's 2 years in jail. For him. Yes, she's in jail. She's in U.S. jail. Of course, it's a white collar prison, so it's probably like more. You know what I mean? On some like.
Wait, what?
It's a white collar prison.
Oh, for the people that like do tax evasion and shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's for rich people. She's not like Gen Pop in like. Rikers.
Like in Huntsville and shit.
Yeah. She's like on some white collar. They could play like pool and shit and like.
they just chill. They got their own rooms.
It's the YMCA
they got a
for
bed,
prisoners.
They got all this shit.
They got TV.
They got their phone.
Shit,
probably.
They might even have Wi-Fi. Like
they probably do.
Yeah, they probably have like 30-minute Wi-Fi hour.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Probably. I probably would, and I think because this is the thing. So when I speak about that kind of thing, it's like the idea that if somebody's doing right by you, there's no reason why you shouldn't stick up for them. No matter how skewed their vision might be, unless they go against your morals, and you're like, nah, G, like I'm just about to drop you here, and this is it. But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. If I were to be caught with some guy that I was mentally like okay with at one point, and then all of a sudden I find out he's doing shit that he's not supposed to, and or stuff that doesn't align with my morals, I will still drop him, but it was still not rat his ass out. So that's the thing. So I might not be with you, but I'm still not gonna be airing out your business like that.
Because you might have seen a part of his character. Like maybe he has like his character is like real. Because here's the thing. People I'm gonna go ahead and generalize people. I do think it's women specifically. I do think this applies to women, but I would say people because I'm like this too. I just don't know if other men generally are like this.
Yeah.
Character matters. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're good looking, if you're really good looking and you know how to flirt and you caught me at the right time, yeah, it might be a one night thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I might even fuck around and be okay with like, you know what I mean? Like some sort of like benefit situation,
Casual
right?
thing, yeah.
Right. Just, just casual. But if you get to know somebody's character and their character like fucking vibes out, if they've got a certain code and certain rules that they live by and they stick to them and they do it with confidence and conviction and like all of these things, whether you're a man or a woman, that's
attractive as fuck.
You know what I mean? So a bum dude, and I mean bum financially, I don't mean bum mentally. Like a bum dude might not be in a certain place of his life, but if he
I'm sticking by that.
If you could just tell he carries himself with a certain level of like respect and principles and this and that, like
fuck yeah.
A woman that is clear above him financially, socially, whatever, might still want to fuck with that dude.
Absolutely.
Because character is everything at that point.
Character is everything.
Especially if you already are at a point in your life where you're making money, or you're just assuming, right? You're making money, you're at a different social status, you're around fake people all the time.
All the time.
You're around people that will burn the bridge immediately. You're around people that will turn you out, that will snitch on you immediately. I'm not saying snitch in terms of like doing something bad, but like they just don't have your best interest at heart. They don't give a fuck about you. They're just there because you either provide something for them or they look good with the status, or especially now on social media days, whatever it is, right? So when you meet somebody with a different kind of character, with a different kind of where like, man, this person stands up and upright, and they stand by their convictions. That's attractive, man.
See, like
that's really attractive.
That to me, because I have very strong like convictions. Like I have very much like, this is my code of conduct that I uphold myself to.
Yeah, code of conduct is a good word.
That I don't expect anybody around me to uphold to my code of conduct, but my code of conduct for myself is like, this is what I do. But like I have, like friends, for instance, that we have mutual friends together and stuff like that, and our mutual friends or mutual acquaintances be doing shady shit that you're like, that I personally am like, I don't fuck with that bitch type of situation. And my friends are like, why? Like, it was just something small. I was like, nah. I'm like, no. Look, see, this is the thing, like, I wouldn't cross my that code of conduct for anyone.
Shit, I'll go even further. I have, because in terms of dating, right? Like haven't been in this situation. Like this is just recent, right? So before, I've talked on the podcast how there's been some level of insecurity on my end because I'm like, man, I don't want to like talk to like a girl that I think is like above my league, because they're gonna eventually find out that I can't match a lot of their habits or like their lifestyle or whatever, right? Which is it's just circumstantial at the time. I just wasn't there. But even then, I've still been involved with people, with women that were clearly way ahead, and that was the biggest thing. Is like character. Your character matters. The way I see you treat people, the way you treat me, how smart you are, your convictions, the things you like, your passions, how invested you are in yourself, and this and that. And now that I think about it, that is my like number one thing whenever I think about like a partner. That's it. That's like that. I need to know how you behave in certain situations and how you react to certain situations, and if you really, because you could say shit all day.
But how you act
when you
on
do
it,
things, that's different. I get to see things at that point.
That's
you know what I mean?
Fact.
So then there's that, right? And then on the other side of things, when it's just talked about friendships, there's people that I don't associate myself with, that I don't like, that are enemies, to put it in like a very clear term, right? That I have a lot of respect for, because they stick to what they believe. they are people of conviction.
Yeah.
They have a code of conduct, and they stick to it, and I respect the shit out of that. I don't agree with them, and I don't want to be around them, but I respect it. And because they could easily just be flippant and just like be whatever, and I'd be like, man, not only are you a piece of shit, but you're also like two-faced and like this and that. But at the very least, I'm like, look, I don't agree with almost anything about you, and I would not do that or whatever it is. That's the situation. But at the very least, I'm like, but the way that you operate in your life, commendable.
Yeah, very commendable. I have the situation where like I have friends or acquaintances, people that I know, that are very much like we're all, for instance, a clear situation or clear example here is like we're all single, right? So we're all prowling around whenever we go out, and it's just like, oh, that guy is cute, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, I have this thing where I'm like, I find a wide variety of men attractive. You know, like I don't have a particular niche. And then I have a friend who has a very particular niche, and this friend shares the same niche with another one of our friends or another one of our acquaintances. And so they always seem like they're competing for the same person. And I'm like, look, first things first, don't be out here. There's competing. What? You're an adult. This is not a game.
Yo, that's
dumb. And two, y'all, if one of y'all acting like this person is just a thing that doesn't have like the right or like the ability to decide whether or not they find either one of y'all bitches attractive, because he might not. And then three, it's like the amount of like evasive conversation that happens whenever they both find somebody attractive. By that I mean like they don't clearly tell each other like, hey, like
I'm talking to this.
I liked him first. What we finna do about this? You know what I mean? Like, it's very much like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's like both of them hitting on the guy. And on the side, I see both of them like still trying to go for it. And I'm like, look, bro, like if you like the guy and I like the same guy, you and I are gonna talk. We're gonna say, hey, you like him, I like him. One thing's gonna happen. Either the guy's gonna get to choose what's happening, and neither one of us is gonna do advancing, like to try and convince this person, because that's just not fair. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or two, we both just don't go for it.
Yo, yeah.
There's no such thing as like I'm about to compete with you. No, baby, that's not how it works. That's not what I'm doing. I know what I got, and it's not gonna work like that. We just don't do that. That's just childish.
It's so weird. That's a good question. Can two friends go for the same person that they're attracted to? That's a good question. I'm with you 100%.
Because my thing is like, look, like I'm not out here competing, and I don't need to compete to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, I would never ever, in the same way that I would never actually physically fight another man for a woman. I would never compete with another man for a woman. No. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
Ever. It's just nonsense. It's silly.
It's childish. It's child's play. You don't do that.
Because it's operating under a very clear set of assumptions that you just don't have all the answers to. Like you can't verify all these assumptions. I would never do it because, I mean, the situations get dicey, right? Like if I'm talking to somebody and I'm clearly flirting with them in the moment, right? Yeah. And then they try to flirt with them in the exact same moment, I'm gonna get mad at my homie. Because if you saw me trying to hit on this girl and then you did, and then you're like, oh, I'm just gonna swoop in, we're gonna have a big problem.
I'm gonna have beef.
We're gonna have a big problem, right? But if I'm hitting on this girl, she clearly doesn't show me any attention. She clearly says, no, I don't want to be with you, or like I'm not feeling your vibe or whatever. Yeah. And then my friend, either in the moment or even later on, tries, or she ends up going with, trying to talk to him or feeling his vibe out or whatever, and it ends up working, I'm not going to feel any type of way. Yeah. Because at that point, she made a choice.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that's perfectly cool.
And that's where I feel with my situations where it'd be like there's been times where I do find, I have friends and we find the same person attractive, and like that person might go for my friend, or that person might come for me, and I'm like,
you gotta bite the bullet.
And I bite the bullet when it's like, no, I'm like, bro, because this is the thing though. It's like I'm not just because I like someone doesn't mean that they gotta like me back. First of all,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the main
Facts,
thing.
yeah.
So if that person, if my friend is not mature enough to understand that concept, because what's happened before is like, I'll get it. Let's say the person gives me the attention, and then the friend or acquaintance will be like, oh, I just don't think that was like cool of you to do. And I was like, homie, because the minute it happens to you, you all fine and dandy about it happening to you because you got it your way. And people, I think that to me is very much like, don't be a child about this.
And here's the thing. People will tell you how they feel without having to tell you how they feel.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like, let's say like this, like I message you on Instagram or whatever. I message somebody or on Facebook, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Phone number, even texting, right?
Yeah.
Like if I tell you I'm interested in doing this, and you're like, even if you're like, yeah, but then like for some reason or another, it just ends up happening. That's it. I might try maybe twice, maybe 3 times, depending on the circumstances. I might be like, yo, like if you're still up for it, blah blah blah, this and that, whatever, right? But like, if it doesn't happen, I got the hint.
Yeah.
I got the hint.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And that includes like text messages, DMs, like even in person. Like if I tell you in person, like it's real easy. You don't actually have to actually tell me, hey, I'm not interested in you. You already told me with the way that you're acting with me. Because if you were interested in me past a certain point, you would make it a point to either go out of your way to say, hey, my bad, this is what's going on today, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not gonna be able to work. Let's reschedule for this day specifically. All right. Now you're showing initiative. Yeah. Like, it means that you feel bad about the fact that this isn't happening and we're gonna try to recoup or whatever. And you want to make something happen out of it. Yeah. But if not, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. If you don't show, it's not gonna happen. And to your point, I'm not gonna take any offense to it.
Absolutely.
I don't know you like that.
Absolutely.
I don't think. I might think you're cute. I might think you're attractive. I might be like, I'm entertained. I might have liked what you were, how you look online or something like that. And I'm just like, I'm like, yo, let's see it. Like I'm not doing much. Let's go out to eat. Let's see if we vibe off with each other, right? But like the fact that you don't like me, this is to your point about just because I like you, you don't have to like me back. Yeah. Like if you don't reciprocate that energy, I'm not offended by it.
Absolutely.
I don't get offended by it at all. It's cool. Like you didn't do anything wrong. I'm not gonna talk down on you. I'm not gonna, because the male ego is fragile.
Oh, the male ego fragile as hell.
And dudes be out here like,
I've seen it.
And dudes be out here like, nah, you're just being a bitch, blah, blah, blah. Nah, homie, she is not obligated to like you in the slightest.
No one's ever obligated to give you the time of day. No one's obligated to, no one owes you anything. You are not entitled to nobody's time. You're not entitled to anybody's likings or opinions or whatever. That's happened to me actually, and it's interesting enough that like for instance, maybe I was talking to somebody and we were talking for a while, and then I specifically was like, yo, like I'm not feeling it, whatever, right? And then we kind of stopped talking. Then because like for instance, Instagram is an interesting thing. Like I sometimes I'm still friends with a lot of the people online. Like I follow each other, and so sometimes they'll post shit and I'll be like, damn, whatever. And if they don't reciprocate the energy back, even if maybe I'm trying to restart something or whatever, I take no offense to that. Because at the end of the day, first of all, there was no clear like initiative on both ends to make this make this into something that it wasn't.
You know, and there's no need for you to blow it up in your mind. Like, this is something I'm so excited about it, blah, blah.
Exactly.
Like, nah, bro, there's no reason to do that.
Like whenever I don't get the reciprocation that I would want, or like the same energy that I would want, I just think back to the fact that it's like, look, at the end of the day, that's fine. Like it's not a big deal. And also I've come to a very, very interesting realization that I don't know if you have seen this happen, but knowing that I don't want a relationship, knowing that I'm not interested in taking the time and the actual initiative to give somebody my time of day, I'm not entertaining people like that either. Like I'm not stringing people along being like, yeah, let's keep going, let's keep doing the stuff, and then going under the false pretense that we might make something out of this when I know I don't want anything out of this. Right, you know what I mean? Like I'm not also trying to do that. Yeah. Like I don't fuck with that. I don't fuck when people do that. I don't like when people just
string you along.
Not even me, because I don't get.
Just in general,
when people do it to other people, because I'm just like, bro, if you don't like this person,
Say it.
Don't be telling them that you do. Don't pretend like you do.
This is why on one of those first episodes that we did when we talked about ghosting, I don't know if you were there.
I think
were you
I might have been there, yeah.
Maybe you were. We were talking about ghosting and like the spectrum of ghosting or whatever in one of the previous episodes. And I think I mentioned something like ghosting is really weird because I don't actually think, like I don't actually get offended by ghosting.
Yeah.
And people really do. People are like, well, you ghosted me. And I'm like, I feel like that term should be specifically made for people that actually know each other. If you don't know each other.
I don't know you. I don't know you.
And we're just talking and all of a sudden we just not, if I stop texting or you stop texting, like I don't consider that ghosting.
That's
But
just,
like if me and you are best friends and all of a sudden I don't hear from you and I text you, nothing. Okay, now you're ghosting me. That's that's a different thing, right?
Yeah, it's a different context too. It's just very different.
But it goes, so.
Situation.
A different question. You and your man's just broke up. Is there a world? Okay, I'm not even put you in this situation. Can somebody's friend date an ex?
To me personally, I think you're a bum asshole if you're trying to go for my ex. Let me tell you why. Because there's the thing. If you were my friend, you know some sort of context about my ex.
Yeah, because y'all talk, y'all gossip. We already established.
We've already established what we done the things and all the things and whatever. You know what I mean? Like we've gone through the talks of what it is. And if you aren't, I have a thing with loyalty, dude. Like I have a very strong. I don't know if it's back to the thing where like I don't know if it's Hispanic thing. Or like you said, a cultural thing or what it is, but I have a very big thing with loyalty.
So in that case, it's your friend that's not being loyal?
Yeah, because my ex doesn't owe me anything.
Right.
My ex as my ex does not owe me anything.
So there's no situation where that would be acceptable?
No.
At all?
No.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit because I actually can't conceive of a situation or many situations where that's acceptable. To me, that question revolves around timing and execution. That's where that conversation. So, like example, I'm dating somebody. It's not working out. I'm gonna break up with somebody, right?
Yeah.
Or with that girl, I break up with her. If very soon after that point, I found out that y'all are fucking around or that y'all are seeing each other, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be extremely pissed. Not at the girl.
The guy.
Because the girl doesn't owe me anything.
Again, yeah.
Right? I'm mad at the guy, at my friend. Because you owed me a certain level of decency and respect. There's a responsibility that we have to our friendship.
Yeah.
That we should be open about these kinds of things. Because my friend should know me.
Yeah.
And he should also know that if he went up to me and said, hey, me and so-and-so have been talking, I've been really vibing with her, but I'm sorry, I don't know if this makes you feel uncomfortable, but like we've been thinking about going out and seeing each other. The fact that you told me before any of that happens tells me a couple things. One, you value my friendship.
Yeah.
Two, you know my history. So you don't want to like cross any boundaries. But three, it also establishes the fact that you're telling me this out of respect.
Yeah.
And that you're still going to proceed towards a certain, like you've already made the decision as a person, as a man, like you've already made the decision and you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I commend that.
Yeah.
If you do it and I don't know about it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to know all the details.
Yeah.
You just have to respect our friendship and say like, because at the end of the day, I broke up with her.
Yeah.
And I broke up with her for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to be with her at all.
Yeah.
I don't want to have I'm not emotionally tied to that person at all. That person can do whatever they want. Right? But I am tied to my friend. I am tied to my friend on a relationship level, on a friendship level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you owe me something. If because who knows? It didn't work out with me because my personality and her personality didn't mix or for whatever reasons. Yeah. But it might work out with you guys. You're two completely different people, different things. Now, it might end up being, if you're a close friend, it might end up being awkward because now you as a man have to know that, like, if you bring her around, if we're friends, if we're really good friends, right, and we're always around each other, and y'all end up actually living a life, like getting closer, and it ends up working out, you're gonna have to know that I was with your girl.
Yeah.
You know, and that might make you feel some type of way. You'd have to be a really big, like a very secure person
to keep the friendship and keep the relationship.
To be able to keep the friendship and not have the
lingering thoughts.
Because you can say it, if you're mature, it shouldn't be a problem. If you're mature, it shouldn't be a problem. You can be around your girl and know that your girl was with a friend of yours at one point, and understand whatever relationship and trust that, and it's not a big deal. Like, as a mature person, right? I can see that, but in theory and in practice are two very different things. You know what I mean?
So like, ego, man.
So like, you would have to like really, really work on that, whatever, right? But in theory, I don't know. I don't think that that's a possibility that can't happen. I wouldn't be mad at that. Also, that's the execution part. Timing is a big deal. I can conceive of, I broke up with her, and then like a year and a half later, y'all ended up rekindling.
So
okay, now a lot of things have happened. You saw her, like, it doesn't matter if you saw her by chance encounter, like somewhere at the store or whatever, or you were at a bar one night and she was there and y'all vibed off or whatever, blah blah blah. Like I can see how that's possible. And the only reason that I think timing is a big part of it, and like very close to the beginning of the, like soon after the breakup is not okay, is because every time you're in a relationship that really means something, if you get out of that relationship, you're going to have to go through the grieving process.
Of course.
You just have to.
Yeah.
You can't not go through the grieving process. So if you haven't in some way, shape, or form gone through the grieving process, then you're not emotionally equipped to make that kind of decision.
Yeah.
That's why whenever people jump from person to person, I'm like, you bugging.
Yeah.
You bugging because, or else you actually weren't with that person. Y'all were just fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you were actually in a relationship and y'all were valued each other's time and you were investing, maybe you weren't thinking super long term, but in the moment, I'm like, no, I'm investing time in my like memories and I told you stories. I told you things that I don't usually tell people. You know, I told you found out things about me. We can't, you know what I mean? All that jazz, right?
Facts.
All of those things. There's gonna be a grieving process for it. And I say this only because there's been plenty of women that I've broken up with that even after we broke up, I knew that I didn't want to have anything to do with them. I knew it. I knew that I didn't want to be with them. But I also knew that I was not going to get into another relationship so quickly because I still had it, because just because I knew it doesn't mean that it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
That I didn't spend all that time or all that energy or
the
those
emotional
memories
stuff,
or
all
like,
of it.
you know what I mean? Or potentially losing our friendship or whatever. Like, it's still going to be a thing to have to process. So that's why timing is very important, because if I see the girl end up being with my friend really short after we broke up,
fuck me then.
Yes, because then it's on both parts. It's all like, okay, so then our relationship really didn't mean that much to you, despite the fact that it might have been me that ended it or whatever, right? So but I can see how like a year later or sometime later, I can't put like an actual time frame on it, but like I can see how I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
So to me, because this is the thing, maybe I'm looking at it in the sense that like my ex is my baby daddy. So to me, I'm looking at it in like, if when we talk exes, it's a little hard for me to think hypothetically of like an ex that was like a just an ex, like somebody who just was in my life and stuff like that. Because to me, having
because you're thinking they might, if this ends up being working out, you're gonna be stepmom.
They're gonna be stepdaddy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So like to me, like for instance.
No. I'm saying like if your friends end up going with your ex, and even regardless of how many time, if it ends up working out, then your friend ends up being your daughter's stepmom.
And to me again, it goes back to like, it's a little different because like, for instance, for myself, one, I don't, that's why I'm not trying to be in any sort of committed relationship, because even when I think about it, like in your instance where like you've had multiple different relationships where maybe they lasted a year, maybe they lasted, 2 years or anything like that.
I haven't been in a relationship that's lasted a year since high school.
Yeah. So like, but I remember, but I've seen all your girlfriends.
Wild.
But I've seen all your girlfriends and I've met them and all these things. But to me, I can't fathom the idea of even doing something like that because I have a child. Mm-hmm. Because I'm thinking of my life in the sense that I'm like, bro, at any point in time, we gotta
45.
We gotta like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not thinking of my next significant other, like the one that I want to actually be significant other with, is as somebody who's just going to be a passerby. It's somebody that I've actually taken my time and dedicated my time to.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. Circumstances do change.
But and then now, like if I think about my ex, for instance, it's like my ex doesn't owe me much, but they kind of do because of how long we were together. And in the sense, it's like because my ex might have fucked around with somebody soon after, it might depending on who it is, like if I know this person, even if it's not a friend, sometimes like if I know this person, it's like, gee, like, bruh, like I might have left or I might have broken up with you because I would no longer felt those things for you, like you said. The grieving part was still a thing. Yeah. Because I let go of somebody that was close to my heart. And to see them not care is to see them not have that respect for me. Yeah. Even though they claim to have it, you know what I mean? Or just again, I have a very big thing with loyalty. So like it's very much loyalty on both ends. So to me, unfortunately,
it's so weird. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people think that loyalty is like that kind of.
To me, it's very much like the idea of loyalty, and I might be very like black and white about this, and there's a lot of things I'm not a black and white about, but loyalty even to because for my friends, for instance, I would never do that to a friend. Like I would,
and I think that's where it ultimately stems from, right? I would never do it to you.
I would never do it to you, so don't do it to me. Yeah. Now, if you're gonna do it to me, you know, we're not gonna be we're not gonna be friends. Like if they do it to me, it's gonna be very much like you are not my friend. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing though, like all of my friends know this, and they've been, or at least my friends' friends know this, and I've been very much like that happens. You're gonna see a very different kind of Matsek because I'm very like chill, whatever, but like there's just certain boundaries that I will never cross.
It's so weird with guys too, because I've been in situations with my friends where I've seen like the lines get really blurry about that kind of thing, about like whether you're dating an ex or whether you like we were both talking to the same girl, or I'm fucking around with this girl, why are you trying to fuck around with that girl, whatever, blah blah. I always found it a little odd, but it gets really complicated too because like. To put it in like crude terms, I've had friends that were fucking around with a girl that just wanted to be promiscuous, right? Yeah, you were just fucking around with her, and like they didn't even register her as anything more important, right? So the girl, because of that, of all that going on, when another one of our friends might have been in that situation where they could like mess around with her too, and it happened or not, the original guy wasn't like tripping about it. It's like, whatever, bro, I don't care about her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's whatever, right? On some like, on some like, I don't really look at women like that right now. I'm not even thinking about it like that right now. Yeah. But one of them will eventually try to like wife her up or like make her the main girl. And then at that point, I'm like, see, now that's just weird. Because the way that it's not like you met her at HEB and y'all kicked it off and y'all were like, yo, this is cool. I really like you. I'm really vibing off. Oh, I can't wait for you to meet my friends. Or whatever. And it's like nice and cordial. They were the whole thing, right? Or it's not even like you met at a bar somewhere. Y'all are two completely different circles and y'all got to know each other. And it is what it is. No, like you knew from your homie that she was just hoeing around. Yeah. And so were you. And then you're gonna decide that you're gonna. So then I'm like, nah, dog.
Yo, I seen that.
Then I get like real iffy about it. Even with my own friends. I'm like, y'all are wild. Y'all are tripping.
I've seen that actually. So I'm about to be airing out business that maybe it's not my. We're gonna
just don't say names.
No, I'm about to be airing out business that's not my business, right? But somebody I know, it's a guy. Him and his homie. I guess we're fucking around with the same girl, right? And so. Kind of going back to that where it's weird very weird. It's like, first, I don't understand how as a female, I don't understand how you can be homie hopping like that. That's just my personal. Homie hopping is weird.
Yeah, that's part of the principles, right? Like if you have your own rules.
It's weird. It's weird on the sense that it's like, it's just weird. You know what I mean? and then also it's like, again, the principle of like, I'm not about to be disrespecting you in front of your homie, and I'm not about to be disrespecting your homie in front of you. Like, that's just not how it's gonna be, because I'm not about to be comparing sizes and doing shit like that, all the locker room talk with my girls on homies. That's just not how it's gonna work.
So then continue. So then
the guys. So to see that happening and to see two guys be like sort of okay with it, and I was like, okay. But then this girl got knocked up by one of the guys.
Ooh, hijo su madre.
And like, it's like, wait, like, and they never, but they were both just messing around with each other. They were never, none of them were ever dating each other. It was all just homie hopping. That's what she was doing. And then she got knocked up by one of the homies, by my friend. Did the guys know that she was homie hopping, or were they unaware? I think they found out after she got pregnant.
Damn, she went up and said, yo, I've been fucking your friend too.
I don't know. I don't think that they knew exactly, but I think that they had like a hunch. But I don't know why they don't be asking these questions to each other or whatever. But like somehow, some way, she got pregnant by the guy that I knew. And
is she hot?
Nah.
That's why they didn't tell each other.
Oh, that's true. Damn. Damn. Wow. That's why they didn't tell, because she was ugly. Well, now she got one of their kids. So
she got 3 kids?
No, she got his kid.
Oh.
She got his kid.
Todo feo and shit?
Well, no, the kid cute, but like, I don't know, man. But she was interesting. I was like, damn, you. But
that goes a little male psychology for you right there.
I suppose so. Because
if she was hot, they would have been telling each other. They would have been like, yo, I'm fucking around with this girl, blah, blah. They would have been like, you know what I mean? Or maybe they wouldn't have been saying like, yo, I'm fucking this girl, blah, blah, like here's who she is or whatever. But at the very least, they would have been like, yo, I'm kind of seeing this girl, like she's hot, like I'm really looking forward to seeing her again or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Even if they didn't get like explicit, they would have said, I'm excited to hang out with a really hot girl. They would have said it to each other.
That's interesting.
They would have definitely said it to each other. If she's not hot, then
funny.
She's not hot, then that means that it was just maybe one of those things where like they just were trying to smash because they didn't have anything at the end of the night or whatever, and then like she was willing, and like it just became
afterwards.
Easy. Yeah. But like they didn't want to tell each other because it's like not something you want to brag about.
That's funny. Oh my God, I've seen this on an episode of Sex and the City. I've seen this, and wow, the male psychology is very interesting. Well, I suppose it's also the same when girls. No, even if the guy's like, we'll still tell each other about it.
Really? I can totally see a world where the girls don't say anything to each other.
I mean, again, maybe it's just the fact that when it comes down to my friends, if I'm choosing you to be a friend of mine that I tell this information to, I'm just gonna be telling you all the information. So yeah,
I always assume anytime I'm hanging out with, like, if I'm ever, all the times that I have been with a girl, I always assume that her friends knew about me.
Absolutely.
I just always assumed.
Absolutely.
I always assumed 100%. Shit, we were here that last time.
Yeah. I was like, last I checked.
And like the fucking, it wasn't even like another girl. It was like the girl's brother. Like was telling me, and I'm like, what the fuck, dog? Don't be saying like you don't know me like that. Like.
Now I wouldn't be telling y'all about that shit. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't do it. I don't talk to any guys about any of the girls that I've been with. Even my really close friends, they might know that I've been involved with somebody, but like they won't know details. They won't know what happened. They won't know if it's still going on. They won't know any of that shit. If they ask, I might be, you know, real casual and discreet about it. But like in general, like I don't go hang out with my homies to try to talk about those kinds of things.
When you know, it's like interesting because it's like me as somebody who hasn't actually been like looking to get any sort of emotional involvement with any of the people that I've been with or whatever, and I tell my friends about, I'm just like, look, this dude, this is what happened. It was fun.
Now, make no mistake about it. If it gets aired out that the homie was secretly smashing like the ugly girl,
the feita?
like the feita, just like without any like in the wee small hours of the morning, like I'm a roast his ass. You know what I mean? I'm gonna roast his ass. I'm gonna roast his ass at any chance I get afterwards, right? But like, you know what I mean? So like, if they talk about it or something happens, like I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say something. But like, I personally don't talk to a lot of this stuff, and just to avoid all the craziness, because again, you know who you hang out with, you know who your friends are, you know how this. Not saying that any of my friends are horrible people, but I go out of my way to make sure that if I am going to talk to a girl, it's a girl completely outside of our circle. Oh. It's not a girl that's like that it hangs around at the same places, goes to the same places. You know,
see,
I don't do any of that.
That's important because, like, for instance, when I've gone places or outside of the city or whatever, and I make friends or whatever, and because I'm there with my friend in particular, sometimes we'll both see somebody that is like attractive or whatever, and my friend will be like, oh, you know, this happened with that person. I was like, good to know. Please let me know. Like, please let me know this information, because this is the thing. I might find somebody very, very much attractive, and they might be the epitome of my type. But if my homegirl hit that, then I'm not touching that.
That's that code that we're talking about.
We don't share dick. Okay, I'm sorry. That's that code. Like, I don't know.
I've never been in a situation where I've ever been attracted to a friend's ex that I was like, yo, maybe this could actually be like a relationship. I've never been in that situation. But I think I'm never in that situation primarily because I don't date in our friend group, or not even in our friend group. I don't even date in proximity to our friend group. So like, I wouldn't do that. We go to like a certain types of bars. I don't pick up anybody there. Yeah. We go to certain types of restaurants. I don't do it there. Yeah. A lot of the times I go out by myself and like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I just don't put myself in that kind of situation. There are, for guys out there that are dating and like you always hang out with your homies, like that's cool, having fun, go do what y'all gotta do. But like there's 4 million people in the city. There's plenty of things you could be doing. There's plenty other circles and other places that you could be involving yourself with to try to find or flirt or whatever it is that you're trying to do. You do not have to be at the same places. You could camouflage.
And when I accidentally find people that know each other, we hop in shit. Okay, we are not doing this.
I might not do that specifically. Because it's just I just don't want it to be like directly like proximity.
No. Because this is the thing is like sometimes like
you might know somebody I went to school with, and I'm like, oh, fuck that.
No. What I mean is like if I've messed around with somebody and then I just so happen to mess around with somebody else, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, let me follow you on Instagram, and then they both follow each other. No.
Oh, you mean like the two guys?
Yeah. And then I'm like, no. We both of y'all is just a cutoff. We're never talking again because I can't even risk it. Like it scares me to a certain extent to think of, and it's not because I think that they would talk to each other about me, but it's just the fact that I'm like, no, like no, like so it's like even if there's like a faint connection, I'm airing out my business right now, but I have somebody that I like to see when I'm out of town in New York, and I so happened to see that they follow somebody that I was talking to in LA, and I was like, no, this can't happen. This cross country shit cannot happen. Okay, like I cannot. No. That's why we avoid things like that, because the world is small, but the world is small. You know what I mean? The world is big, small. The world is small, big. Because like I'm like, look, if there's this many people around in the world that cannot be crossing, like we cannot.
Cannot be crossing fluids. On that note, this past week we recorded at the infamous Champ Burger. We went and we sat down, we talked about some more topics, and we can't wait to show you guys. So if you guys are ever on the east side, Champ Burger is it. You'll see it in the next segment.
you're wondering why I'm out here sweating my ass off in this fucking inferno of a hellscape right now, June 21st, Houston, Texas, it's because I'm right outside Champ Burger. It's an East End staple, and I'm more than willing to sweat my ass off for one of these delicious ass burgers. If you know, you know. Look, we come here so much sometimes that they know they give us a I love Champ Burger sticker.
Bumper sticker.
Bumper sticker. We can put this on in the set at home.
That'd be cute.
Be adorable. Champ Burger showing love. What's up? So this place has been here since 1963, providing good quality burgers to everyone in the neighborhood. We're on the east side, and I'll tell you right now, I've been coming here since I was at Rusk Elementary.
Yeah,
down the street.
I remember that because when we would get sick or whenever mom would pick us up and she has some extra money.
Here, I'm gonna realign this a little bit. I want the post to be in the middle.
Yeah. When mom would come, see, she would sometimes bring us here and it'd be like that one treat because Champs was always just so good.
Even though, look, I'm sweaty as hell right now.
I'm
but
burning
it's
my ass
fucking worth it.
right now.
I live like down the street, but it's still worth it because we wanted to get this content for you guys.
Ooh.
Man, shit, we would skip school and come here.
You skipped school?
We would skip school at Rusk.
Damn, y'all
Because it's so close. Like we would be at the park and be like, yo, let's go to Champ Burger real quick. We will save up like all this money, like $5-6. Is that us?
That's us.
Food is coming. So y'all gonna see how good the food is whenever we fucking show you in a little bit. You get your bag, that's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's mom and pop giving you the realness. And then you get look at this. Look at this.
Oh, bacon ass. Ooh.
Look at this amazingness.
Ooh.
Look at that. Oh, don't tell me that don't look good. It looks incredible. Incredible.
Their fries are so good too.
Look, I'm literally sweating my ass off. I should not have worn a white shirt.
Yeah.
Look at this. And we were thinking about it too. We were like, let's get the food. Ooh, nice little breeze.
A nice little breeze.
We were like, let's get the food. Let's take it back home since we live down the street. And we were like, nah, you need the authentic Champ Burger experience. Because here's the thing, whenever we were kids, moms didn't have enough money to be driving out here, which is not even that far. And so we would walk here in these fucking hot ass summer days and be fucking playing around and shit. We would walk here to Champ Burger because we wanted burgers and we didn't want to go to like McDonald's and shit. Actually, there wasn't even a McDonald's.
There was no McDonald's
when we were growing up here on the east side. So we would walk our asses over here, and the biggest joy was like, yo, we here.
We're here.
We here. We made it. Fucking love Champ Burger.
It's so good.
So, and we're gonna have a conversation. You were the one that said it to me that AOC was getting arrested, and Ilhan Omar too was getting arrested too. Like some members of the squad were getting arrested.
There's a long list of Democrats that were arrested.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I like AOC. I think she's a powerhouse. I think she's gonna probably be, you know, a force to be reckoned with in Washington for a while. But that shit was so performative.
It really was.
And like they were like holding their arms back.
Yeah.
Like they were actually getting arrested, and like she's like walking by, and then she's like, or like power or whatever the fuck it was, right? And I was like, bro, don't put your arms back there. Just walk with the officer. Like, what you doing?
Exactly. What? I mean.
And for the record, totally on board with her message, and definitely protesting abortion rights and all of those things. But come on, man, there has to be some sort of like like common sense in the sense that like, bro, don't be performative, because then they're gonna accuse
then it
you of the
makes
same things that like we accuse them of, you know?
Exactly. Don't be performative.
And it's just not the same thing. Like, you're not gonna actually go to jail.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not like when MLK went to jail in Birmingham or some shit, and he was stuck in jail, and he wrote the letter from Birmingham jail there, right? Like, it's just not the same. You know what I mean? It's not the same level of gravity there. You know?
Yeah.
Now the issue is dire, but the performativeness of it just wasn't it. You know?
Yeah. Wasn't it? And
Also, look at this grilled cheese. Look at this grilled fucking cheese. Hold on, let me focus on it real quick. Mmm. Shout out to Champ Burger. Anyway.
all day, every day.
I saw that, and Republicans were going off.
What did they say?
They were going off about how it was performative. And at that point, like, what can you really say?
Because it was.
It was 100% performative. There's no reason for you to be that extra about it. You know what I mean?
I'm curious to know why they were like. They were just there.
Even the headline sucks. Like, AOC and a whole bunch of Democratic members get arrested. No, arrested means you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're getting escorted off of the premises.
Yeah, that's all you're doing is you're being escorted out. Like, you know what I mean? Bro, I don't even know why. Well, they
were blocking the road
oh, is that what it was?
in front of them.
So why weren't they arresting everybody else?
They did. She was just like the first one.
So everybody that was blocking the road got the same smoke.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm curious. Does anything really happen to them since they're
Probably not. That's the point. Is that like, what are you gonna do? You're really gonna tell AOC that she's gonna go to jail? They're not gonna spend the night in jail. You tripping?
Oh.
They're not spending the night in jail. They're not putting people that are in the House of Representatives next to the one-nighters that go for like drunk driving. That's not happening. So it's just
Very much performative at that point.
But hey,
I mean, my question about that is their goal to get people to continue to talk about it?
Another napkin. The goal. Well, I guess the goal would be to
continue to talk about it, to continue to make a thing out of it, like.
Maybe,
because,
but at this point, people are more talking about them getting arrested than the actual issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's probably a delicate balance. You know? It's probably a delicate balance because at this point on Twitter, people are spending more time talking about how that shit was
the performative
more so than like, let's keep talking about abortion rights or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is how you know. This is how you know that like it's a little see-through, that people on our side, people on the left, are not defending her.
They're not?
Yeah. Well, at least not in droves. Like, they're not like, oh, you know what I mean? You're not seeing like, oh, you guys are misinterpreting about bigger picture, blah, blah. They're just like, yeah, we're just not gonna like, we're not going to even acknowledge it because that shit was weak. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a good look.
It was mad weak.
It's like when Jussie Smollett was like, hate crime, and all the black people were like, nah, son, you were not trying to get Subway at 2:00 in the morning, like in the Chicago winter. Like, that's not how that works. It was just like that. So, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think as a centrist, as somebody who...
Is that how you identify as a centrist?
Yeah. I don't see myself being...
Well, you're definitely socially liberal.
Socially liberal on a lot of things. But then there's also like a lot of understanding of the right side and the reasonings behind the right.
I know plenty of people that are Republicans, so it's not like I'm against
yeah.
it, but
I mean, ultimately, I think it's a good thing that they aren't like out here trying to defend her in the masses. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like, I think it's a good thing because it's showing that it don't matter, because there's a big big point of view of the right to the left, is that the left is very extreme just as much as they think that the right is extreme. You know what I mean? So there's this big, I believe, I wouldn't say misconception, but I would say that like it's a.
I think it is a misconception.
I think it's a general point of view is that they think that they will defend any Democrat no matter what it is.
But you know who does do that?
Republicans do that.
do that.
That's what I'm saying. So like it's like Republicans
They would
do that
defend them at any
cost. It don't matter what it is. But with this whole little thing happening when it's happening, I think it does go in to show and prove that that's not the case for us. As
You want some?
no, there's just a bunch of flies flies keep trying to get on.
That's okay. That's part of the experience.
It's like stressing me out. But I think it's good that like the Democrats weren't just immediately like, no, AOC, like this and that, this and whatever, and it's like, nah. They were like, well, this bitch.
At least so far as I can tell, like whenever
I haven't seen anybody come in and be like, yo, that's not performative at all. Like she's trying to prove a point, and it's like, what point?
Well, she was trying to prove a point.
There's a point to be proven, but like, you're not getting arrested, bro. Like you're getting escorted. It's not the same gravity or weight as being arrested for. Better said, here's an example. Now,
like when Rosa Parks went to jail.
I'm gonna go.
That's different, dog.
I'm not gonna use like MLK or Rosa Parks because of the fact that they were just normal civilians. Like they weren't.
Okay.
They were activists, but they weren't in the government. Correct me if
Rosa Parks was not an activist.
She was not an activist. She was just.
Well, I guess in that moment she was. In that moment, she was like, I'm trying to make a statement, like, you know. But like in general.
I think if I'm not mistaken, there has been Mr. Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
He has been part of the government and has actually gotten arrested while being part of, like, I don't know if he was in office for something or he was doing something.
He was young, too.
He was young.
He marched with him, okay.
Yeah, and he would get arrested all the time. Like, but he would be.
Shout out to Bernie for
he
being
was already
consistent.
part. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I am wrong. He was already part of working for the government and to a certain extent when he was getting arrested. For
he's been pretty open about.
So he's been very.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Now that's different because
Bernie Sanders comes directly from the Martin Luther King philosophy, and a lot of people don't know. I'm gonna learn you something. A lot of people don't know Martin Luther King was a socialist.
How great he was.
He absolutely was a socialist.
He was.
And y'all conveniently forget that, even though apparently people in America hate socialism and hate Marxism and all this crap. Martin Luther King, when he was in school, learned Marxism and socialism from his predecessors.
That's a fact.
Kept on the tradition of Marcus Garvey, Frederick Douglass, and the treatment of black people. Martin Luther King was specifically trying to rid the world of certain specific crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
That he was trying to wrestle with, and one of them was the poor, and he specifically talked about social safety net programs. Martin Luther King was, at the very least, a democratic socialist. At the most, an actual socialist.
No.
And a lot of people don't like to acknowledge that, even though there's a whole holiday for the homie. And he was the homie. He was amazing.
Yeah.
But to bring it back, that's why Bernie is so important. Or sorry, forgive me. That's why Bernie and his consistency is something to be applauded, because the same thing that Martin Luther King was fighting for, Bernie's been fighting for the better part of 40 years. And he hasn't changed his stance.
He hasn't changed his stance.
He has been anti-elite from the jump.
Since the jump.
You know what I mean? Now, do I agree with all of his things? Not completely.
But
But-
there's not a single person in the government right now that I agree 1,000%.
But you have to give credit with
For credit is due.
Shit, I'm not shit. From 1 week to week, I'm not consistent. Let alone 40 years like that. Shit, fuck out of here.
To fight with all your might and your guts like that, bro.
And for Vermont to keep electing him.
I'm gonna do my mom.
That's There's nobody. There's nothing there. There's more cows in Vermont than there are people. Don't get excited. We eat them.
What's wrong with getting excited about eating a burger?
Remember that one time?
What'd I do?
Like
What'd you do?
no. Remember that one time that dad had a goat, right? And he had the goat, and mom saw dad kill a goat.
The
for the
sacrificial
soup,
goat.
The sacrificial goat, and mom's was like, I can't eat this today.
Yeah.
Normally she would have eaten the goat if they would have. It
She
was
just
at
didn't
a
see
restaurant,
it.
but she actually like saw the little goat, made friends with it and shit, and have another napkin. Told it sweet nothings. The goat was cute. Are you like that? Would you be able to like have a pet cow and then in like a year and a half eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, I'm not that.
You're not that like woozy about that kind of shit?
Will I love the cow? Yes. Will I tell it sweet nothings? Absolutely. Will I care if it's gonna go and feed me? No, I won't.
Yo, we gonna piss
It's
off
fine.
all the vegetarians
I know
out
I
there.
am, and this time
We pissing off all the vegetarians.
But
It's
you
okay,
know-
don't come with us.
But you want to know something? I would take a very native stance on that. I'm gonna use all of the cow. I ain't just gonna use it for its meat.
What do you mean? Like the bones and shit?
Like use it, like for instance, when people use the hide, like they used to make blankets. I had myself a blanket cow. Spotted.
This is Bertha.
This is Bertha.
Yeah, that's a good
This is
name for a
Bertha.
cow.
Oh my god, that just reminded me of Surf's Up, where the guy's walking along and showing all his prizes. It's like, this is Tiffany. It's like, this is Bertha.
This is Sydney. This is Monica. Baby girl.
Baby girl. She was the sweetest. It's like all this shit.
Yeah, he's all like, and this is my prize, my one and only.
My one and only. I think it was
Cindy
Stacy or something
Stacey
like that.
whatever. He goes, it's just me and you, baby girl.
I know. Homeboy's having.
I just can't help myself.
He was like mid-nut, and every time he was talking about all this shit, it was just funny. I can't believe we used to watch that shit as kids and never once think of the gravity of it. We were just like, yeah.
Surf's Up is such a funny ass movie,
It's
dude.
a funny. It's Shia LaBeouf, bro. Like
It's
Shia
such
LaBeouf
an
is
underrated
hilarious.
movie. It's such an underrated movie.
It's so.
And it's got jokes.
It's got jokes.
It's
for
got jokes. That
days,
Chicken Joe joke is
man.
funny.
It's
They'll
so
be like,
funny.
my dad, my dad taught me how to do, like the chicken was like, my
Yeah.
dad taught me how to do something or whatever. And then it shows a picture of his dad like this, and then it zooms out and it's a box of chicken nuggets. Or it's like a bucket of chicken. Like, it's just so funny.
That's what's funny about Surf's Up. It's like very much like, I like how a lot of these shows or movies are geared towards like, they're like animated, so you think they're for kids or whatever. And then as a child, you watch it and you're like, this is funny, it's hilarious.
Yo, Disney got some
you
jokes in
you
there
laugh
too.
at the things that are like funny, right? And then you watch it when you're an adult and you're like, what?
Yo,
like,
no,
you be
Disney-
really listening to it and you're like, I didn't know you thought like that. Like
Disney
and
got some
all of
jokes in
them.
there.
Every single one of these movies has like jokes, you know, innuendo stuff, a bunch of little things in there that you're just like, that was sus behavior. But it's funny though. It's hilarious.
Yeah, whenever Simba and Nala meet for the first time and they're all like frolicking in the grass and shit.
It's like, stop lying.
And you're just like, that's what you're doing?
And at first,
You frolicking?
and
And
you
Timon
know,
and Pumbaa are just like looking. Like, what the? If you don't give me some privacy, you don't see me here
because
with,
when you're young, bro, you
over here
hearing
eating
the
bugs
song.
and shit, and now there's a whole lioness
Yes.
with me.
You're hearing the song and you're like, you know, is it the stars? Is it?
I don't know
we
what
see
it
the
is.
stars tonight or some shit like that. Some song. And I swear, when you're young, you're just listening. You're like, aw, they're having fun as friends. And then you get older and you're like, they ain't having no fun. They're having fun. They having fun.
Did you hear that?
Fun.
Did you hear that Tyga put out a song called Ay Caramba? Tyga put on a song
Ay
called
caramba.
Ay Caramba. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Is it good?
The song kind of slaps, except there's one part that I was all like, bro.
What is it?
He says something like, my girl so hot, it reminds me of Tabasco. And I was like,
Tabasco's not hot.
Senor, you should have consulted with a Mexican, because I know that shit rhymes in the scheme, but Tabasco's not hot.
Tabasco's
son.
literally like
And if you're gonna
Tomato juice.
appropriate our words, then at least give it some fucking justice. Cause Tabasco, dude.
what was it? Well, my girl's so fucking hot. She reminds me of
Tabasco.
Tabasco. That could have been where you could have done habanero. You could have done something else, bro.
I don't know. I don't know what it
You
is,
could have
but it was
figured it
not
out.
it. A white person helped him develop that line, cause
You must have.
that's what it says. Reminds me of Tabasco. Look, I'll play it for you, so you don't think I'm lying to you.
Yeah, I really want to know. I really want
Watch.
to see.
You will see. You will see.
Plot twist. Yo, my ass has been burning on this thing. I never realized how much concrete can hold heat.
Yeah, conducts. I'm just fast forward to watch.
That don't even rhyme,
I was all
My
like, all right,
bitch
Tyga's gonna
remind
put
me
on a
of
certain.
Tabasco.
Every time I hear Tyga, I just think of Rack City, and it's like the same type of beats, that Rack City bitch, Rack
Yeah,
Rack
Rack
City
City, yeah.
bitch. And I'm like, all right, he's gonna come out with a little banger for the club, for the strip club or whatever. Like, all right, see, I fucks with it. Maybe I'm in the mood or whatever to be on some Rack City bitch, Rack City bitch, right?
That's funny.
And then he said, my bitch so hot.
She
My
remind me
bitch
of-
hot. She remind me of Tabasco, and I was just like, Tyga,
No.
you been in LA for how long? See?
Who is this girl?
Kylie, right? No.
No,
He
that-
was with
he-
Kylie.
that
He
was
was
with
with Kylie.
Kylie.
He was with Kylie at one point. Okay, but still, all that Kardashian mind fucking and like and manipulation got you thinking that Tabasco's hot, my dude. That's not it.
Nah, my G.
That's not it. You lost all credibility with the Mexicans at that point, my G.
I didn't realize he ever had credibility with us, but you know, if he did, it's gone.
Mhm.
It should be gone. First of all, ay caramba. That is the most Americanized thing. Nobody says that.
I've
in
never heard
Mexico.
any
I've never heard
any
of
Latin
my
American
mama
person
and my
say,
daddy
"Ay,
have
caramba."
never in my life heard them say, ay caramba. That is so American. Is that even a word?
I
in
don't even think
Spanish?
it's American. I just think it's like we've outgrown it. We've evolved past it as the Latin American community. Maybe it's more Central American,
Maybe it's Central
or like
American.
Southern American, because
Let's
Mexicans
see.
don't say "ay caramba" like that. We know what it means, but we don't say "ay caramba" like that at all.
Oh, that's why. That's why nobody uses it. Because it's caramba is Portuguese.
So people in Brazil be
From
using it.
Spanish interjections I and caramba is an exclamation used in Portuguese. Oh, I guess, and in Spanish to denote surprise. Caramba, though. My mama ain't never said caramba.
Mama ain't never said caramba. She said hijo de su pinche madre. She said ay, hijo de puta sometimes.
No,
Ay,
chingada.
hijo de la chingada. Ay, chingada madre. That's what they say, chingada madre.
Whenever you're surprised, it's like chingada madre.
And if you scare
it just
her,
depends
if you
on the
scare her, she's like,
tonation.
chingada madre. Como-
Ay, yeah, it's like really, it just really, there's so many ways you could say chingada madre. Like if
She-
chingada madre is a name.
She ain't never said, ay caramba.
She's never said ay caramba. Like if I'm surprising mom, she'll literally be like, ay,
And if it's
Ay,
Sunday, she'll say, ay Dios mío. You know what I mean?
hijo mío. She'll go, hijo mío. ¿Por qué hiciste eso? Like that.
Yeah.
Very much like Jesus.
We don't use ay caramba.
I never heard ay
That
caramba.
shit ain't it. But there was some uproar on the internet about like cultural
it?
appropriation or some shit. And
About
like about the song. And
See,
I was like, I mean, I don't feel offended as a Mexican because he used the word ay caramba. I feel offended because he said Tabasco was hot. That's what I'm really offended by.
that's not accurate. Give me your trash.
I am 100% offended by what he said. I will not stand for that stereotype.
Not that one.
To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever even had Tabasco. Maybe more than once.
I've never had Tabasco. And I'm not inclined to have it. Give me Cholula.
At the very
Give
least.
me,
At the very least, we'll
Valentina.
take Cholula. Valentina, the black one, for sure, all day.
Cholula be hidden, bro.
Cholula's alright. It's a little acidy.
It's because got a little bit more lemon in it. Cholula with Doritos, smacks.
Cholula with Doritos. Look,
Cholula with Doritos.
you're
I put mom on that shit, and she's been buying Cholula like a crazy bitch.
You're talking to the people that go to very specific movie theaters because of the fact that those movie theaters got jalapeno juice.
We
and
have
we put
video.
jalapeno juice in our popcorn.
That
and I know
shit
that,
smacks.
and I know that people that aren't Mexican might not understand. And when I know this because I've said that to many people, and they're like, "I don't understand this at all. This is weird. It's weird and nasty, but it's not.
What?
It's fucking amazing." So you're
People think
talking
that's
to the
nasty.
people that go to movie theaters for the jalapeno juice. And if the movie theater ain't got jalapeno juice, then we're not doing it. We're not going there no more.
So much so that every time I go to a movie theater now, I do genuinely think, let me bring my little bag of jalapeno juice.
La costeña.
La costeña, just have like dump out the juice and keep it in like a little bottle, one of those squeezies. Put the little
Like for
cap
the
on
lemon,
it.
like the lemon bottles, they how they have the little like lime juice that isn't really lime juice.
Yeah, like those, and just on your shit.
I had a girlfriend once.
I would do that.
She said she would put like a little lime in her water because lime in the water or whatever, and it's really good. Like I would drink like Topo Chico with a lime in it or whatever, right? And it goes
good.
off, but
Topo Chico.
but she she got the lime juice that's already in the thing, and then she put like a couple drops in it, and I was all like, that's not the same.
That's not the same.
That's not the same
we
lime
don't,
juice.
We don't use lime juice that's been processed.
What?
We're Mexican.
It's touched a lot of plastic. The lime juice already touched the plastic, the sides of the plastic of the bottle and stuff. It's tainted. You need lime. Fucking squeeze that shit.
Yeah, bro. I don't like lime juice on bottles. I don't like lime juice that's not coming out of a lime.
That's why
And it's
every time I go to a bar,
to get one.
right? I order a margarita, mezcal margarita, whatever, right? You gotta go to a bar. If they don't squeeze the lime, because they have like so that they can pour it.
You notice, and you're like, I'm not coming here again.
I'm like, if this is from concentrate or like processed, I'ma judge you. I might come back, but I'ma judge you.
I'ma judge you.
You know what I mean? I'ma judge you hard. But if like you got homie in the back like every day, like going for it,
We tipping you extra.
tipping you extra because he deserves it. He deserves it.
Cause that is whack. It tastes sugary. They have to be putting something in there to kind of preserve it.
I'm sure they had a little
They
bit of
have
something.
to have some sort of preservative in there.
But they
and
probably
then
go
fuck
through it
up.
every day. To be honest, they probably could squeeze it out in the morning and they go through it every day. We'll get some
No,
of
no,
our
I mean-
bartender friends.
no,
to
I mean,
like,
like
you mean
the
the processed
the
one?
processed one.
Oh yeah, they probably keep something
That's
in
why
there
it's disgusting.
to preserve it. Yeah.
Because that shit gotta last.
It don't even feel the
production,
same. Like
It don't taste
like
good at
I
all.
was there once. I think that might have been why we broke up. To be honest with you, because I was
Wow.
trying to make myself some chips with some Valentina and some limon, and I got it and I sprayed it on the chips and I ate my first chip and I was like,
This is disgusting.
it's not the same.
It's gross.
Ruined a whole bowl of chips. Like
It really will. It'll ruin your mood.
I was so upset. So
My ex used to do that.
needless to say,
Gross.
we're not together anymore. All right, we're gonna go back home because it's hot as hell and we just had our meal. We're gonna take it to go. Thanks for coming. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta focus it.
Okay.
Fluids.
Fluids. Can't be caressing fluids. First of all.
Yo, that sounds gross. Sorry,
That
I didn't mean
sounds
to say
disgusting.
that. I didn't mean to. I meant to say it, but I didn't mean for it to come out like it was like that. Like it was just like this fucking like smorgasbord of like fucking juices.
Yeah, well, it's just,
Smorgasbord of juices.
it's like I can't risk the connection. Like, I cannot be going into the same stratospheres of each other. Like, it just doesn't work that way for me. And then also, it's just like, this is like a weird fear of mine. I'm like, let's say this.
What's your fear?
Like, I have this.
What are you afraid of?
I'm afraid of ever fucking. I'm afraid of ever fucking around with somebody. This is like the most outlandish thought and the most outlandish example. But let me just put it to you this way: I like Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say for one weird fucking reason, I end up where let's say Harry Styles currently lives in London. Let's say I'm visiting London. Let's say I'm just fucking around. I'm there. Then all of a sudden I find somebody very attractive, right? And we fuck around. I'm fucking around in London. And the fucker knows Harry Styles. I can't do this. Like, I have a fear of like.
You have a fear of the people that you fuck, knowing famous people that you want to fuck. What kind of fear is that?
No, it's
like yo, like if you know who this famous person is, I can't fuck you because I really want to fuck that famous person.
Yeah.
So
in a weird way, but it's also.
I don't have that fear at all. No. I'm not ever worried that some bitch knows like Saoirse Ronan.
No.
and I'm like, yo, I can't fuck with you because my chances with Saoirse Ronan are just out the fucking window.
But like I'm
not saying that ever.
I'm giving you like an outlandish example. That's why I said that at the very beginning.
Can you imagine like just like going on their Instagram and be like, you know Condoleezza Rice? Like what? Can't do it. And then like, why'd you stop talking to me? Why'd you ghost me? Cause you know Fergie. And have you seen the My Humps video? That video kept me alive in middle school.
Again, that was a very outlandish example to put it into perspective. I'm talking about the locals here, okay? So, I don't know. It's just like a weird fear of mine to fuck around with somebody and then I'd be like, damn, I would have much rather fuck that one. But then I already fucked you and I just can't do it.
That's a weird. Imagine if a socialite had that rule with which they're, or like an Instagram socialite. That's what I call them. They're not like real socialites, but like an Instagram socialite that's trying to like move up on social status.
That's weird.
Because imagine if they cannot have that rule.
No, they can't.
Because their entire identity revolves around the fact of associating themselves with people that know other people so that they can associate themselves with them and then that know other people that know other people. You know what I mean? That's the way that the Instagram socialite can get to fuck like an NFL player or like a basketball player and shit like that.
Again, that's weird to me. Like that's so weird
funny.
To me.
A couple weeks ago, my friend Nina was gonna get on the pod and we were gonna dissect the essentially like the nightlife and where the Instagram socialites like to go. So I can't wait to have that episode so that we can actually talk about that because that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be funny. I got a lot to say. I don't know, maybe my code of conduct, maybe my ethics, my morals, whatever you want to call them, just and your anxiety, apparently your weird irrational fears, like
my irrational fears of it's not the famous people. It's not like that.
That's just the example.
That was the example I gave.
I get what you were doing.
And I'm like, no, but truly, I'm like afraid of that, and it's weird. It's just like I can't.
Are you afraid that like they might be accidentally like acquaintances or friends or cousins or some shit of somebody that you already fucked?
That's even worse. Oh like, my god!
I'm about to see you at the barbecue.
I'm about to see you at the barbecue because I fuck your cousin, bro, and then I'm gonna try to fuck. No. We are a boring ship.
What if
off?
What if that happens after you've already been dating for a while? What if that happens after you've already like solidified, like, yo, we're in a relationship, you know what I mean? We moved in together.
I'm gonna have some beef with my boyfriend if that's the case. I'll be like, why didn't you tell me that fulanito de tal was your cousin?
So you gonna break up with this whole dude?
No, I'm not about to break up with him. I'm about to have beef.
But would you tell him?
Fuck yeah.
Damn, that's a hard one. I
don't believe in I believe in keeping my private life before my relationship private to a certain extent.
Okay.
Like withholding certain information that might not be necessarily important in the cultivation of our relationship in the future. But if it were to come down to it that I'm in a relationship with somebody and I'm like, fulanito de tal is your cousin.
I
fucked fulanito de tal. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Okay. So you would flat out go.
I would
for
very
it.
much. I'd be like, bro, like.
That's good.
I didn't know.
I can totally see. Okay, so I'm not condoning lying or
what you about to say?
I'm not condoning people being hurt or whatever. What I am condoning is consistency in character. So if you start off a relationship, because optics is everything, right? And this happens with guys probably more so than girls. I can see it happening with girls now too. You have to keep up an image with the person that you're trying to talk to. I don't do that. Like from the jump, from the very beginning, you're gonna get who I am. That's who I'm gonna be. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I like, what I don't like. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I'm not gonna be tripping like that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna show you this weirdness about it. I'm not trying to flaunt. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. But to the people that are, you gotta keep up an image. Some people are high maintenance. You might end up being with somebody that's high maintenance, or you might end up being with somebody that you have to keep up an image with, and certain things about your past might set them off the wrong way, and you might choose to not disclose that information at the beginning with hopes of trying to tell them later in the future, right? Those kinds of things. In those kinds of situations, I can totally see where you might refrain from saying certain things about those things and just keep it in the tuck. The only problem is that if it ever backfires on you, then your ass is gonna it's gonna combust.
Very much.
It's gonna combust in your face.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be hard, man.
I don't know. I just very much don't have those kinds of situations. But speaking on this conversation, just kind of like minding your business about certain things, like about like not saying certain things to your significant, reminds me of how white people should mind their business on the Neighbors app.
On the Neighbors app?
On the Neighbors app.
Neighbors app is just snitching. The Neighbors app is just
elaborate.
Snitching.
Let me elaborate, okay? Because I sent Juan a specific. There was this neighbors post about the trail down here and the Edo or whatever. And it's a known bike trail. It's been known. It's been a known bike trail for years before the white people started cultivating around here, okay?
Started growing agriculture.
Yes, they started growing themselves.
Started planting roots.
And planting roots here, okay? And I'm sorry. I'm not sorry if you're a white person and you get offended by this. Mind your business, okay? If you see a pile of blood, if you see a splatter of whatever.
That's what it said, right?
It was quite literally, they posted a picture of the trail and there was just blood on the floor, right? And they're like, did anybody see anything? Like, did you guys get like? Was there like? Do you know if? Does anybody know about why there's like a pile of like a dried blood on this thing? And I said it to Juan, and I was like, "This is why white people need to be minding their business." Did you get cut? No. Did a homie come up to you behind you and shoot you? No. Did you fall off your bike and hurt yourself? No. Then mind your business.
Is the blood dry?
Yeah. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Ain't got nothing to do with you. You didn't see it happen.
You sent me that, and I was all like, "What?
Mind the business."
But mind your business. You don't have any business asking about why there's. But as a matter of fact, you keep asking questions.
Should finna go sideways.
You might figure out how that blood got there.
Exactly.
You might really figure out how that blood got there. Yeah, I think the Neighbors app is just
like I don't inquire
it's just
about
anonymous snitching, because you can make your whatever like your name on there, right?
Anonymous.
As long as you that's just anonymous snitching. And y'all did it anonymous on purpose because y'all don't want to get found out.
Look for you.
You never answered the question of like whether you wanted to be looked at as a chola or whether you wanted to be looked at as a clean girl. So like why it bothered you?
Oh. Well, we kind of diverged into why Latin women be sticking up for their man, but
just real quick, which one would you prefer to be? Like if you were labeled like this, if you were about to take a picture of this and you had to hashtag it with one of those, which one would you hashtag?
Chola vibes all the way.
Chola, okay,
Chola
so you're proud of it to some degree, like like there's some culture shit, because clean girl aesthetic is kind of whack.
Well, my thing is like right now a lot of the clean girl aesthetic, like I've seen a lot of like influencers that are not, actually just recently saw one influencer that's not brown or black, and she was like, we need to talk about how the fact that the clean girl aesthetic is only quote unquote the clean girl aesthetic because white women are doing it.
But white people aren't cool. That probably does happen. Like, it's probably happening or whatever. But white people aren't cool. White people can't make trends. Like, that's not what happens.
Well, yeah, no, because
black people make trends.
Exactly.
Hispanic people make trends.
So that's why.
Look, during COVID, a Mexican man went viral because he was on a skateboard drinking some juice.
Oh yeah, the cholo guy.
Right? White women can't do that.
Yeah.
White men can't do that either. And there's hella white men in big ass pickup trucks trying to be gentleman-like with their beards and their shit and they're talking about trying to be funny. You ain't that funny.
Ew, what? Ew.
There's plenty of white people that are trying to be funny or whatever online with their, like, you know what I mean, with their like aesthetics or whatever, and like and trying to be social media personalities. But I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything in the past 15 years that white people have started a trend on.
No,
I really can't.
And well, the thing behind it is like I'm not mad at the fact that it's becoming like a more widely known like hairstyle or just trend or whatever, like a thing that we do. It's just the fact that a lot of the it's funny because a lot of people are like, y'all are reaching for stuff, like we didn't do anything wrong by just wearing the hairstyle. It's just a hairstyle. And it's just like, okay, that's cool for you, but like the idea behind it is the fact that like when you think of a chola, it's associated to something negatively, but also cholas were culturally like they were targeted by police. So there is systemic shit tied to it.
This goes to like the cultural appropriation question, which in general, cultural appropriation to me, I tend to have a very relaxed view of cultural appropriation. And for reasons that we can get onto in another episode, but I came to the conclusion that when white people appropriate shit, it becomes a little bit problematic. Not so much because it's the appropriation part. It's because since white people hold the dominant structure and the dominant authority in society in general, they built society to some degree. A lot of the things that they try to appropriate, like a hairstyle, right? Like the chola hairstyle, like braids, shit like, or dreads, or shit like that. All of those characteristics have been labels put on a very specific group that have been oppressed, and then all of a sudden you want to take it and make it cool, and that's the part where it becomes a little bit of it gets really problematic. Is because you spend the majority of your history villainizing this aesthetic and villainizing this look. And then now you want to take it and say there's nothing wrong. No. There might be nothing wrong in theory if you take the look, but there's wrong in the fact that now you are trying to take the look.
Yes.
It's wrong that you don't know your place in history, and more importantly, maybe if you want to use the word wrong strictly, maybe it's not wrong, but it does say something about your privilege that you can just take it.
Absolutely.
That you can just take something that has become the symbol of oppressed people, that now they have to say, no, instead of me shaving it off, I'm going to keep it because now this becomes part of my identity. You villainized me for it for so long that now I don't want to let it go because there truly is nothing wrong with this. And I'm going to stick my, stand my ground.
Which is where, like, because that's where I stand by in this particular instance, because it's like, and I've heard it from you, I've heard it from mom, I've heard it from people around me in general that are like, they see the slick back hair, they see the slick back bun, they see the gold hoops, and they see the lip gloss, the red lip or whatever, and immediately I get the, you look like a chola. And it's not even my outfit. Like, mom was commenting on my outfit particularly. Like, she wasn't even commenting on my hair. She was just commenting on the outfit because of how oversized everything is. But in media right now and in the cultures right now, those particular outfits where they're oversized, where they have like these big oversized men's shirts and men like button-up shirts, are becoming very popular amongst specifically non-brown and black communities. And I don't necessarily mean just like white communities. I mean specifically non-brown and black. And I really mean that more specifically here in the States, because outside of the United States is a whole different ballgame for everybody else around it. I will say though that a lot of the people who consume American culture and try to adopt it in their own ways, a lot of the times don't realize that a lot of what they're doing is cultural appropriation, and that's a whole different ballgame that I'm not about to talk about. But here in the States specifically, where it happens all the time because we have an amalgamation of people throughout the entire country, that you see this kind of stuff happen and you're just kind of like, well, you know, it is what it is. That's just a new style trend or whatever. But then we look back at the history of the trend itself and you realize cholas were known for being cholas because of how baggy everything was.
Yeah.
Like they wore the nowadays Dickies are becoming popular again because it's becoming a trend where tall, thin white women are wearing them, and they're wearing them low rise, and they're wearing them with Air Forces, and they're wearing them with a crop top. And that is the fashion trend to be. You know what I mean? But I remember seeing those girls be villainized in TVs. I've seen them villainized in my own neighborhood when it would happen because I saw them. I had people around me that looked like that and that were villainized.
And that to me is the problem.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes problematic. That's where the topics of cultural appropriation for me get a little bit dicey. Become a little bit more obvious about what we're talking about. Because we know, let's just, for example, we know a lot of Mexican people that have been accepted by black people. Like black communities, right? So then because of where you grow up, and Mexican kids that are growing up around a lot of black kids that feel accepted, or vice versa. It could be the other way around. It could be a black kid with some Mexican people, right? You start seeing black kids talk about the carne asada. You start seeing black kids taking a little bit of the culture, really like the music, like to dance salsa, or like to dance cumbia, or like to dance things, and we don't say anything about it. You're not appropriating our culture. Yeah. Why? Because we're oppressed the same. Yeah. Because we're looked at in society the same. Yeah. And that's the conclusion that I've come to terms with. Whenever you see a Mexican kid and they're hanging around a whole bunch of other Mexican kids or a black kid or whatever, and they're in a neighborhood, and they might all be saying the N-word, or they might be into black culture or wearing Air Forces and stuff. That's not Mexican culture. That's hip hop culture. Yeah. Right. That's like, all of these things, and they'll get accepted. The Mexican kid, there's no problem. You don't have any issues. We don't have any issues with what you're doing. You know what I mean? If a white person does it, maybe not the N-word thing, but like if a white person appropriates the culture, it's a big problem. Yeah. And they'll call them culture vultures or stuff like that, this and that. But you wouldn't do that to like other minority groups that are also being oppressed in that same way. And that, I think, is what the thing that I've realized, because we don't get mad whenever people appropriate our culture, but they appropriate it on an even line. They appropriate it and we're all on the same playing field. But whenever people that are hierarchically, societally looked at as above, or historically, maybe even systemically, like when they have power, and then they try to reach down, grab a few things, pick and choose what they like. Them, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then it becomes a problem. That's why the Kardashians always get this problem with Kylie getting lip fillers and them constantly getting tan to make themselves look more black, and getting the big asses so that they look more black. And then there's a whole other problem.
And blackfishing,
right? Like there's a whole other problem of then men romanticizing girls that are actually white but have black features, as opposed to romanticizing black women. Which there's something that we could get into at a whole other time, right?
That's also something very big.
But that's a fair critique, is that you're reaching down, societally speaking, to grab the things that you like, and you don't get any of the negativity from it. You know what I mean?
What's really weird about it is, like, I've seen it mainly happen with women. Yeah. Like, I've really rarely seen a man, not that I've rarely, but it doesn't happen as often where men in general appropriate men's, like, stuff like that in terms of like white people or somebody above.
White men
the white man appropriating black and brown culture in in terms of like the aesthetic, anything that's seen right off the bat, I do feel like they appropriate a lot more of like the back end stuff that maybe not a lot of people realize is happening. But when it comes down to the women, and it took me a while to kind of figure it out, because when I was growing up, all of this was happening. All of that conversation of cultural appropriation was very like, it was popping out more often. So to me, when I would look at it, I'd be like, well, I've lived my entire life trying to emulate a white woman because I was told that my culture was problematic. Like being Mexican was problematic. Being Latino is problematic. You know, being of anything that isn't white is problematic. If you don't have any white in you, if you are the first generation here, you're problematic to society. You're problematic to anybody around you.
Right. So
you're problematic in the grocery store, like any of it. So when I was growing up, and like as I just began, and as the wave of the, you know, of the rejection of cultural appropriation started happening, and I think it's all due to social media kind of like being able to bring that out a little bit more in people, is the fact that a lot of people, I've heard this comment a lot of where they're like, well, there isn't anything you can take from the white woman and appropriate it into your culture, because there's nothing that they can bring into your life.
There's no value that they can add?
Yeah, like I've heard that a lot.
There's
like
no value add?
Yeah.
That's not true. We can take their privilege. That's a very big value add.
And
if I can culturally appropriate your privilege, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
I'd take it. Oh, absolutely. But like the fact that they're saying, they're like, oh, well, they're only picking and choosing the stuff from you guys because like they've seen how beautiful J-Lo looks when she has her hair slicked back in her hoops. You know what I mean? They've seen how, you know, Cardi and Nicki look with big asses and stuff like that and tiny waists and it's beautiful and it's revered by men all around. So they take that and pick it apart from them. You know what I mean? They see how the tan skin looks great on white skin, but because they see how beautiful Latinas look with it, and they have golden hues and they have bronze looking skin and stuff like that. And Sofia Vergara looks amazing with it and stuff like that because she's Colombian, right? But in our culture, we're told you're not white enough to be beautiful in this culture, because unfortunately as well, in every single culture except for white people culture, they want you to look whiter.
Interesting.
And white people, you're allowed to just be white, but you're also
allowed to pick and choose
whatever you want to look like. So if you want to look a little bit tanner, go ahead and look a little bit tanner. You want to curl your hair, curl your hair. You want to wear a wig. Not a big deal. When you look at our culture and you look at Hispanics, specifically brown and black people, they love the mixed kid. They love the kid that looks white, the white passing Hispanic. Hola, güerita, ya viene. Or the light skinned boys or the light skinned girls that are also pretty because they're lighter skin, but they still have the features, like the slight features of you know of their black communities, as well as Hispanics, where they're like, well, you still have your Hispanic, you know, features and stuff like that, but you're white, so you're prettier than the rest of the girls here. You know what I mean? So it's super weird to see how like our community really wants to be that way, but it's interesting also to see how much in social media now, or at least from my end of seeing it on social media, how they're really regaining that ability to be like, yeah, sure, call me a chola, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, right. I am, call me a chola, it's fine. Like, I 1000%, like, going back to the questions, like, I would 1000% rather be associated to a chola than with a clean girl aesthetic.
Got it. That's fair.
1000%. Because a chola, there's value to that. There's no value to a clean girl aesthetic. Yeah, there is no heftiness. It's
superficial in nature.
It's just superficial, and it's gonna die off in a trend in the future. But for me, this has been around since Salinas. Okay, this has been around since forever. So to me, this thing here, I've seen it in ballet folklorico for years.
That's actually a great point.
Where we put our slick back and we put our braids in and we put our hoops in and we go out there with our red lipstick, and that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's been something part of our culture for ever.
Yeah, we take pride in that.
We take pride in that. We take pride in all that stuff. And black girls take pride in their beautiful slick back buns with their fro showing.
That being said, I don't mean to cut you off because you're on a roll right now, but like this year for Dia de los Muertos, we better go off.
Oh, fuck,
we better show up.
it up.
We better show up to the Degenerates finish show up
Facts.
as a Latin podcast, which apparently we've been called before, so we got to lean into it, you know. But anyway,
I will.
till next time, we could talk about all those. I'm sure we'll get into all those issues to some degree more eventually. I'm sure something will come up and we'll talk about it because those things we could talk about for days. But until then, I hope you guys like Champ Burger. Show up to Champ Burger. Show up to Champ Burger and tell them that the Degenerates sent you. They'll know what you're talking about.
Watch, they're going to be like, woo, woo.
Who? ¿Quién?
¿Quién?
Diego?
¿Quién?